Welcome back, guys, to another SBT playoff match in the Challengers division again. We have two coaches, Ryan versus Ghost this time, and yeah, it should be a decent match. I know Ryan um, made it, I think, to the third or second seed in the Challengers division this season. He's been doing really well, and Ghost obviously not trailing too far behind him. But both of these teams, obviously, as you can see in front of you, very powerful squads, and the matchup itself looks pretty even. I would have to say. Ghost does have a really nice core with Garchomp and Gardevoir there, and a very heavy hitter with the Victini, while Ryan has things like Latios and Corviknight to make sure that they don't get too far ahead of themselves. Obviously, Latios outspeeds the Chomp, and then Corviknight kind of just walls the both of them to a certain extent, of course. Beedrill is nice on Ryan's end to kind of revenge anything else. Beedrill has a really good matchup, honestly. I'm curious what Ghost wants to bring for that thing. Probably the Registeel in some kind of defensive role, or even Rotom to a certain extent, but the Urshifu Rapid could probably do it better. Urshifu Rapid, per se, might have a hard time against this squad, just because Ryan's defensive core is a lot more bulky and could potentially have Rocky Helmet to make sure it doesn't spam its signature move. Melodic is also a really decent check. Ryan has a lot of nice checks to Ghost's offense, but Ghost has that Victini and that Swallow there, so he can definitely break with some neutral hitting, really powerful stab instead of super effective hits. We'll have to see for sure though, because it depends more on who has momentum in this match, and Ryan can honestly bring the Cinderace. His B tiers in this matchup look very nice against Ghosts, since Ghost's fastest thing is just Swallow and then the Frostlass there. So yeah, I'm curious what they end up bringing. This is just the matchup. Obviously, have the match loaded up for you guys in a different tab. When it comes to the 6, they might each bring probably the top. If I would have to guess, I don't expect really Helios to come. It would be an interesting bring for sure, but I don't really anticipate it. Not with like things like Chomp there, and and things like the Registeel and Drapion. I'm not even sure if the Drapion really wants to come, but it definitely could, to make sure that the Latios doesn't really get any free hits. The Victini is also a really nice check to, things like the Slurpuff. So I'm assuming just Ghost wants to bring like Garchomp, Gardevoir, Rotom, Victini. He could potentially bring the Swallow and the Registeel, and then Ryan on his end wants to bring something like Latios, Corviknight, Beedrill, Melodic, potentially Serena, if he wants to make sure that the Rotom doesn't get free Volt Switches, or the Piloswine could also come for potential rocks. So let's just jump right into it, see what they each brought. This is going to be a really nice match in the quarterfinals of Challengers. So let's take a look. So it looks like Ghost does end up bringing pretty much exactly what I anticipated, and Ryan on his end ends up bringing the Cinderace and the Scrafty, which not sure if Ghost really anticipated, but no Serena on his end makes the Rotom a little bit more free. The Rotom definitely has free Volt Switches anywhere else, and it looks really nice against most of Ryan's team. The Corviknight, again, like I said, could be Rocky Helmet or something like that, just to potentially wear off the Urshifu, causing too much damage. Urshifu is a nice bring against the Scrafty, but I'm not too sure how else he'll do against the rest of Ryan's team. If he has Aqua Jet, it could be very nice against things like the weakened Beedrill and the Cinderace, of course. But without stalling too much, let's just get right into it. And again, I'll just keep it on slow and see if I can commentate over top with their plays as it goes. So let's see what they lead with. All right. So it looks like Ryan ends up leading with the Cinderace as Ghost leads with the Victini. So both of them could easily pivot out right now. Looks like Ghost thinks it's just necessary to hard switch, considering it probably isn't Scarf Victini. But Ryan ends up taking a lot of chip from that rough skin Rocky Helmet. So in comes the Latios to obviously take on this Garchomp, knowing it's not Scarf. He can actually just drop a Draco, but he instead goes for the Aura Sphere, predicting the Registeel to come in. Instead, the Gardevoir comes in, and you know, we're thinking that this Gardevoir is very defensive to want to come in on the Latios. Obviously, Ryan's counterpart to Mega Gardevoir coming in is the Corviknight, and we see it leftover, so we don't actually see the Rocky Helmet, which means Ghost might have a better time using the Urshifu, making sure it doesn't get any kind of chip. Melodic comes in to take on this Victini. Victini does go for that U-turn, so I'm guessing Victini might be choice in some kind of way. I'm not sure though, but we do see the Toxic coming off Melodic, obviously predicting some kind of switch. That Discharge doing a lot of damage, honestly, and Ryan scouting, just wants to see exactly what this thing was going to do. Maybe he was going to Volt Switch, but we did see the leftovers on Rotom as well, so we know it's not very offensive, but we do see the Nasty Plot, which makes it a little bit harder for Ryan now since he just recovered in front of it. But since it is Toxic, Ryan could potentially stall this out by doing some doubles. We do see the Discharge, of course, coming off the Rotom. No paralysis, so very nice for Ryan. And now this Rotom has come to the point where, you know, even a neutral hit will take it out with the Toxic. So Ryan just making the safe play, going for the Psychic. We did see the Life Orb earlier, and he could have something like Recover to keep himself healthy, but with Gardevoir in, Ryan had to make sure that he goes out into his pivot for this, and of course we did see the Wish coming off the Gardevoir, so we know it is more of a utility set, perhaps a Cleric that helps Victini get back to full here, and Ryan brings in his Melodic to counterbalance the Victini coming in. So it looks like Ghost really does have more momentum here. Obviously Ryan making the defensive plays, but I guess Ryan's still just trying to scout out what's going on here. Goes for the Dragon Tail. Again, he's just trying to scout. He's trying to make sure that nothing sets up, nothing gets momentum. We do see another U-turn. Ryan might be going for a Recover here, or he could be going for another Dragon Tail. We do see the Recover there. We haven't seen Scald yet, but I'm assuming it might be his last move to take on the Victini, but it doesn't really have to be. So in comes the Scrafty this time. We're going to be seeing what's going to go down. I think both of them were planning on setting up, but since Ghost got the head start in setting up his Iron Defense first, Ryan just wanted to pivot out into Melodic. Maybe we'll see the Scald here, hoping for a burn or Dragon Tail, and it does miss, unfortunately. So I think the math evens out so that Ryan might live this hit, but he does have Recover anyway, so it would have been close, but that's going to be a problem for Ryan. He has to recover and hope for something here, because he can't out recover these body presses, and he can't Dragon Tail with you know, with it being negative priority. Haze would have definitely been a better bring here over Dragon Tail. I'm assuming Dragon Tail was for more damage and phasing, but Ryan's not going to be able to outstall these body presses. You know, he only has 9 recovers left, and he keeps taking chip damage from the burn as well. Ghost, if he wants to set up another one, he could, but it might be counterintuitive, because once he slips and sets up again, Ryan's just going to Dragon Tail because he knows he can live a body press from full health. This is not going to go well here, because eventually someone's going to run out of PP, or someone's going to get a crit, or you know, he keeps losing health from every single recover. So he could try and swap into the Corviknight, but he really needs the Corviknight healthy for that Gardevoir. And once this drops, it's going to be really hard to revenge the Registeel, especially at full health. I think Ryan just has to go for an attack here. He instead just wants to waste body presses on this Registeel, which might be a solid play. He actually ends up living on 1, which means that he would take on that. Okay, so interesting. Ghost allows the melodic to be safe for now. Of course, he was running out of PP there on the body presses. So I guess that was a solid play or tactic on Ryan's end, just making sure he runs out of PP so he can't take on the rest of Ryan's team. He has to take more damage with audio, so he could be going for recovery here. He actually goes for a Shadow Ball, predicting the Gardevoir to come in, so very nice play on Ryan's end there. And now he could revenge this, but he instead tries to get some more momentum, obviously thinking that the Registeel might come back in, which does end up happening. He gets a huge hit off on that, and Ghost actually allows that and goes for a counter. So Iron Defense Body Press counter is definitely an interesting bring here. Now this gets revenged easily. It was also Chople, so that could have been really cool to see in the late game. I don't think Scrafty wanted to set up there, just fearing anything that the Registeel still wanted to go for, because Body Press was pretty free there. So here comes Corviknight again. We've seen this before. I think Ryan might want to take this out at this point. Instead, he goes for U-turn. Now, if Ghost has Protect on this, that'll help Gardevoir's longevity. So we do see that, and obviously Ryan finally getting some momentum to go into his Beedrill and just pivot out. We know that since Registeel's gone, Ryan's just free to go for U-turns. He will take a lot of chip from this, but I mean, I think the damage on Garchomp is worth it, especially when he can freely go into Intimidate Scrafty. If he wants to set up here now, now's the time. There's the Dragon Dance we do see, and he ends up going for 2, so Ghost is probably just going to go for... He goes for the Roar. Very nice play on Ghost end there, making sure that Ryan doesn't continuously set up on him. And I don't think this Miltank can survive this. Wow, 15%. I mean, it was intimidated. So very nice. Ryan was able to keep this alive. He only has the 1 recover now, though. He's probably going to go for it again just to make sure he's at full. And he actually chooses to double there. Very nice. Obviously, Garchomp didn't have to go for an EQ, but Ryan hard predicting it. Very nice. So we do end up seeing Latios just drop there, and the Rotom's going to drop here as well. So that's going to be a double down, and I think Beedrill might want to come in now. Corviknight actually decides to come in. It's interesting because Victini was pretty free to come in no matter what, considering Melodic was going to be taking chip. And you know, it's going to be only at half, so I'm not sure if that's specs or not, but that definitely did a lot of damage. And there goes Ryan's response to the Mega Gardevoir's Hyper Voice. Looks like Ghost finally thinking that Urshifu is going to be powerful in this late game. We do see the Surging Strikes, obviously it crits every single time. And now if I don't know if that's banded, that could be, and there's the Aqua Jet. So it's not banded, and he was able to make sure that the Scrafty just didn't finish off the rest of Ghost's team, because setting up there would have been very scary for Ghost. I don't think he would have had a counterplay for that. But Victini was at full, so who knows. And there goes the last of Ryan's recovers. So there's the T-Bolt. I don't think that's specs, in my opinion. It could be Scarf, maybe a special Scarf. But that looks like it's probably the game at this point. I'm not sure if Ghost wants to preserve the Victini to come in later if it is Scarf. Scarf does make sense, but he could just let this drop and then bring in... Okay, so he just chooses to go for the attack, and then he lets it drop, and now Ghost can freely go into a Urshifu and go for an Aqua Jet and finish off this match. So that's going to be a good game to both these coaches. Very back and forth. I felt like both of them had the upper hands in certain scenarios, but I know that Ghost, it felt like his strategies was working more to his advantage in the late game. Especially when Urshifu just sat in the back, making sure he didn't take any kind of chip, and you know, letting his priority and signature move get the better of Ryan in the end. It's a shame because Corviknight dropping also was very harsh for Ryan to lose. I don't exactly know if he had another counterplay, but Corviknight was definitely more... to him, Corviknight was definitely more expendable than Melodic, it seemed. So, good game again. Ghost obviously advances to the second round of Challengers, where the matchups are still to be determined. Only one match has been played so far, and yeah, and after that, we'll get to see some more matchups in the Challengers division. So for now, guys, thanks again for joining, and stay tuned for some more content. All right, take it easy.